Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to go over something really near and dear to my heart, and that's elbows. Okay, so before we get started with the really cool stuff, I want to give you a little bit of context. Our subject study of the elbows today is going to be a little bit unconventional and out of the box, meaning these aren't going to be your normal Thai elbows that you see. This is going to be something completely different, and hopefully it'll give you something to think about and study further. All right, guys, make sure you stick around to the last set so you can see which one is my favorite. Now go ahead and let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, and let me know if you think you could pull this off while you're fighting or even while you're sparring. Let me know what you think. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the use of the elbows is being able to protect yourself. And really, for a better example of this situation, being able to protect your head. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to worry about trying to protect my head. I'm going to go off of this first initial flinch response with my hands coming up. This punch is coming in and I'm not seeing it. So my hands are going to come up. I'm going to bring my hands to my head so I can provide structure. But instead of keeping it wide open like this, I'm going to bring them tight around my head so I can provide a helmet and that way keep my head protected. So the first application that we went over was just based on protection. I was caught off guard. Now we're going to talk about the defensive aspect, which means that we're already in the fight. Okay, so as I said before, this principle is really based on defense. So we're already in the fight. I know the punches are coming. Now, out of safety for my partner, I was kind of using my forearms, but in reality, I'm going to use these elbows to defend into this punch and hopefully catch that knuckle. Okay, for this next part, we're going to work on countering with the elbows. Now, I'm going to walk and talk this at the same time with my partner. When I do this, I'm going off of the jab cross combo. So what she's going to be going off is going to be a jab and a cross. Here, here. For this jab, I'm just going to do a simple parry. And then as this cross is coming in, I'm changing levels and I'm coming in with this elbow. And it's drilling directly in. I'm going for the sternum for safety, and for my partner, I'm obviously pulling a punch. So from here, it's going to be parry and I'm coming straight in. As soon as this line of the jab passes, I'm shooting straight in. I don't want to hesitate, because if I hesitate, I'm going to run straight into this cross. Now granted, I'll have my elbow up, but I want to make contact. So from here, as soon as that passes, I'm making that entry. All right, so notice on this counter, when I'm coming in with this elbow, I'm actually changing levels. I'm not trying to go straight in because I don't want to run into this cross. I have to change my level, and I'm using this mechanic to go straight in for that elbow. So again, changing levels, and I'm bringing it straight in. All right, so the next thing that we're going to look at is making an entry using elbows. So we're going to walk and talk this one. So my partner is going to be in a guard. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some kind of jab with the front hand. It can be open or it can be closed. And this is going to give me one or two responses. One response is, once I make this contact, she throws that shot with that other hand, and I make my entry with that. My next response is that when I go to throw this front hand, she actually brings her hands back because I catch her off guard. She kind of tightens up a little bit. So when I throw this and she tightens up a little bit, this is what I'm going to be using to make my specific entry. I'm going to be coming in through this hole here, and from here, I'm throwing this front hand technique. I'm going to leave this hand here. I don't want to bring it back, because if I bring it back, then I give her all this space that I work to attain. So I want to leave this hand here. I'm going to step all the way through, and I'm bringing my back elbow in to this hole here. Now, once I make this connection, I'm going to use my entire body to pull this down. And from here, this gives me this giant hole to be able to make any kind of technique or any kind of follow-up that I want. So again, from here, I'm throwing this front hand technique. She's tightening up a little bit. I'm stepping all the way through using this back elbow to draw this down. Notice how close I am. I'm wanting to try to take all the space away because from here I'm going to start throwing different techniques, but it's all going to be really in tight. So one more time, from this position here, I'm throwing this front hand technique. She's tightening up a little bit. I'm stepping all the way through, and I'm using this elbow to drag this down. So one bonus on this particular entry that I happen to really enjoy is that when I'm here and I'm bringing this elbow all the way in, I'm not just aiming for the arm to drag the arm down. From here, I'm actually going all the way in and I'm hitting them with that elbow and then dropping down. So the last thing that we're focusing on is purely overwhelming our opponent. Now when we do that, the idea is to rapid fire a bunch of elbows at the same time. One of my instructors told me a long time ago that somebody who's throwing elbows should be able to throw their elbows the same way that a boxer throws their punches. What you just saw were 5 different ways, 5 different focuses that you could incorporate your elbows in. Now, there are tons. There are a lot of different areas within the elbows that you could investigate and that you could learn more about. This is just to get you started. This is just to open up your mind a little bit and to see the different applications for elbows.
I wasn't trying to do that.